Thank you very much, Josh, for joining Energy Live News and coping with Corona series of talks where we discuss with industry leaders how their businesses are affected from this unprecedented crisis. We recognize that we live at very uncertain times. So first and foremost, I would like to ask you, how has coronavirus impacted Everflow, your team, and if you have taken any specific measures to support them?
Our culture is obviously very important to us. Our staff are very important to us, and making sure that in this difficult time that we can do what we can to support the staff. So we've launched various things, various initiatives for staff. So we've given them kind of a working from home allowance, recognizing that there's increased living costs. We thought that was really important. We've also introduced an employee loan scheme. So employees who face kind of real difficulties at this time, if they've got a boiler that suddenly breaks or anything like that, that they can get kind of £1,000 interest free from the company to help get through those times. I think that's really important. The third thing that we're doing is we're saying to any staff, and we think it's probably quite likely that we will have to do this because workloads are definitely dropping. For any staff that we furlough, we're absolutely keeping them on 100% pay and topping that up as well, because I don't know the personal financial circumstances of all of my employees, and what I certainly don't want to be doing is putting any more strain and stress on them at a time which is already difficult. So it is the most fair thing that we can do for employees.
Can you tell us a few more things about Everflow? Would you like to outline what Everflow does for the viewers that probably are not fully aware of your services?
Yeah, absolutely. So within the group, we have two distinct entities. One is a water retailer. So businesses have been able to switch their water suppliers in Scotland since 2008 and in England since 2017. And we perform kind of all the similar functions that an energy retailer would. So we do the customer service, the billing, meter reading, and we buy the water wholesale from suppliers and sell it onto the customer. So we do very similar things, but there's still a general lack of awareness that that's even possible in England and Scotland. Since then, we've switched more customers than anyone else in the market, by a quite significant amount. So roughly, we think it's around about 50% of customers who've engaged with the market to switch have switched to us, because we're mainly focusing on SMEs, whilst a lot of our competitors are focusing on large I&C customers. So that's Everflow Water. Everflow Tech, we build all our own software in-house, and some of our competitors are actually using that software to run their retail business as well. So this software allows a retailer to operate fully within the English and Scottish water retail markets, and that's been proven very successful, with a lot of our competitors now taking that up because they've looked at Everflow Water, the retailer, and kind of been able to see that that has benefited from the use of the best software in the market.
I guess in these challenging times, it's all about the commitment to support a water sector and ensuring customers, especially the most vulnerable ones, that they are going to receive reliable water services amid this crisis. Can you tell us a little bit more about the feedback that you get during this crisis period from your customers and clients?
We've done a lot for customers. We've done a lot of listening, first of all. So a lot of customers were phoning us in before even the lockdown happened and saying we're going to be closing. And so one of the things that we did, we're the first company to put on our website a notification and form to allow customers to notify us of that, so that we could then suspend their billing for a few months whilst this is going on, because we recognise that customers need that holiday break from their billing. We thought that was really important. The second thing that we're doing is we've been really heavily involved in engaging with the regulator, Ofwat, to make sure that the protections are in place for customers and for the market, because we think that Ofwat need to be really strong at this moment in time to be able to put those protections in place for both the retailers to allow us to continue to operate, to allow liquidity to continue to flow through the market, cash getting all the way through, and ultimately to then protect customers kind of on that re-entry back into business as usual, to ensure that customers can continue to engage proactively with this market.
Mm-hmm. So do you reckon that their main concern of your customers is how they are gonna pay their bills?
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. I don't think, thankfully, I don't think there's been any concern from any of them about them actually accessing safe, clean water. I think that's been, it's great to see that we've got good, strong wholesalers who are able to provide that reassurance. But yeah, it's been very much around their ability to pay. I think we're expecting kind of that as many as 50% of our customer base is likely to be unoccupied for at least a portion of this period, and so they're not trading, they're not getting revenues, and therefore they're saying to us, how can you help us during this difficult time?
Can you tell us a little bit more about the kind of disruption that COVID-19 brought to your business in terms of the everyday workload and workflow?
In terms of kind of how our business is set up, we've always been based in the cloud in terms of all of our operations. So we've always known that we could operate remotely. I think we've had very good meeting structures in place for a very long time, and so we knew the transition for working from home would be a straightforward one for us, and indeed it was. We were able to kind of basically flick a switch overnight and do that. It's obviously challenging for employees. You just have to adapt. Everyone's had to adapt in the country, so no one's we're not alone in that. But I think we've had really good communication. If anything, actually, we've had some people reporting there's even better communication between our different offices, because we've got kind of 4 different locations that people operate from, and we're actually experiencing better communication through those, which is really good to see.
What can you expect from water industry after the coronavirus crisis?
Yeah, sure. So I think we're definitely going to see 2 things. I think one, we'll probably see an adaptation to kind of the way people work, which I think will be positive for people's work-life balance. I think that's important. So we'll see a lot more flexible working, and that's a really positive thing. Secondly, and the less positive thing, I think we are going to see a lot more businesses struggle. So not just retailers, although I think that there may be the odd retailer who does struggle, but I think we'll see just generally businesses just with a kind of a further economic downturn. We'll see a resurgence of business kind of once it's all over. People go back, start being more productive, but I think sadly that won't be sustained. There'll be many businesses that I think will really struggle to come back and just start and pick things up where they left from, and will inevitably fall into harder times. So I think we will end up with a bigger recession. And what I think that will mean for the water market is that there'll be a couple of things happen. There'll be more pressure, downward pressure, trying to kind of reduce prices, more pressure from customers saying we want lower prices. There's also going to be maybe an uptake in switching, I think, as people search for those lower prices, which I think will be a good thing for the market. But yeah, generally it'll just be, I think it's going to be a difficult time for everyone, and that doesn't exclude the water sector.
Josh, thank you very much for your time. It was a really pleasure talking to you.
No problem. It's been great.
Very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Bye.